is on all these regular polygons that we've been dealing with, I generally have always given you the apothem. What I'm going to talk about today is how do you find the apothem. All right? So there's several ways that we could do it, but I'm going to go through this process right here that I've kind of listed out. So here's the first thing. Now, this line right here, is this an apothem? Yeah. Basically, yes. It's going from the center straight out to the side where it makes 90 degrees. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to ignore the apothem for just a second. And from the center point, I'm going to draw, we talked about this a while back, the radius. So it's going from the center to the vertices like this. And again, right now, what I'm doing is I'm just ignoring this apothem right here. So I'm just thinking about these. Now, and of course, in all of this, we're assuming that these are regular polygons where the sides are all the same length, okay? So if all the sides are the same length, how can I find the measurement of one of these central angles right here?
360 divided by 5.
Good. Remember, there's 360 total degrees in a circle. So since there's 5 divisions of that, I'm going to do 360 divided by 5. 72. So what that's telling me is that this angle right here is 72 degrees. This angle is 72. All of them are 72. All right. Now the next thing I'm going to do is this: is I'm going to cut the central angle in half and the side length in half. Okay. So thinking about this over here. So now what I'm going to do is I'm just going to focus on this right here. All right. Let me just get a different color on this. Oops. No. Not going to do it. Okay. Not necessarily. Okay, so I'm just thinking about this triangle right here now. So if this whole angle is 72, how am I going to find this angle? Yeah, I'm just going to take 72 and cut that in half, right? And so what does that give me right here? 36.
And the bottom one would be 90.
Yep, this would be 90 degrees right here, which that's not drawn exactly like that, but that's what it should be, 90 right there. Okay? And if this whole side is 14, which means this whole side is 14, how far is it going to be from here to here? 7. It's going to be 7. So I'm just doing what this is saying. Cut that central angle in half and cut the side length in half. So here's what I'm going to do is I'm going to redraw that triangle that I just drew in blue right there. Okay? So I've got this triangle like this, where this is 36 degrees, and this side is 7 inches right here. I don't like it like that. Now, and this is 90. So again, what am I looking for here?
The side.
The apothem. So what I'm doing is I'm looking for the length of this side right here. Right? So that's where my X is. That's what I'm looking for. Now, what am I going to do to find the length of that side?
You can square it and make it 3.
Okay, is this a 30, 60, 90? No. It's close, but not exact, so I can't use that. That's good that you're thinking about that, but that's not going to work here. So what am I going to have to use now to find the apothem?
Trig.
We're going to have to use a little bit of trig.
It is right on the bottom.
Yes, right there. Okay.
Oh, you do sing car.
Okay, so remember, SOHCAHTOA. SOHCAHTOA. All right. Now, let's go back up to this triangle right here. So here's the angle that I'm dealing with. Which side is the H?
The H is
The hypotenuse, which is the blank side. So remember what I'm doing is I'm labeling HAO. Okay? The adjacent now is the one that touches the angle. So which one's the adjacent?
7.
Which one is
X.
the X, and which one's the O?
The 7.
The 7.
I had to think about what angle.
So it'd be
So which one of those 3 sides is blank here?
H.
8. So the H is out. So
O A.
O and A tells me to use which one?
tangent.
Tangent. Now, the process that we're going through here on these, if you go through this process, basically you're always going to use tangent. It's just the way it's going to work because it's the same process each time. All right, so remember, this is how we set this up. The tangent of that 36-degree angle equals, now remember this SOHCAHTOA not only tells me what function to use, but it tells me how to set it up. So I'm going to always put the opposite over the adjacent. So how long is the opposite?
7.
7 over how long is the adjacent?
X.
X.
So we just put them in cut.
Okay? Now, remember, whenever X was on the bottom, did we multiply or divide here? We divided. So we're going to go 7 divided by the 10 at 36. Now, let me remind you in your calculator, when we're dealing with this trig stuff, what was the one thing we talked about? Okay. Yeah, no, not that, but that's what I'm talking about. It's not ratings. It needs to be in degree mode. So up at the top of your calculator, make sure it does not say RAD. For what we're doing, it needs to say DEG. So you can just go up to the top with the cursor and just click on it, and it'll toggle it back and forth. You can also go through the settings, but...
Ooh, 9.63.
Okay.
How about when you go?
So when you type this in, making sure you're in degree mode, do 7 divided by 10 at 36, you get 9.63. And is that our apothem length?
Yes.
Yes, it is. That's exactly what we want. So the apothem for that is 9.63. Yep. Okay, I'm going to drop down here. I'm going to skip the number 1. Let's look at number 2. Okay? Let's look at this number 2. So on this one, how many sides does this have? 6. So I'm going to do 360 divided by 6. That's 60, right? So what that means is that this whole angle right here is 60. The whole thing is 60, but I need to know this right here. So cut that in half. It's going to be 30. Oh, actually, yeah, that is good. So this would be 30. Okay. Now, if this whole side is 9, how far is it going to be from here to here? It's going to be 4.5. And this is what we're looking for. Now, you could use 30, 60, 90 rules here. That's good that you're thinking about that. So going from here to here, you could just multiply by the square root of 3. But let's go ahead and just use trig because that's pretty much what you're going to be using on these. So it's going to set up the same way. Which one is the H? Blank. Which one's the A? And the O? 4.5. The H is out. O and A tells me to use tangent. So the tangent of the 30-degree angle equals 4.5 over x. So I'm going to go 4.5 divided by 10 at 30.
7.79.
Okay. So the apothem length would be 7.79.
So whatever you type it in, you type in 4.5 over tangent 30.
Yep. Oh yeah, and remember, where do you get to that tangent at?
Trig.
Yeah, on our Inspire, you push
So
the...
will all these be tangent?
Yep. It's going to end up working out the same way every time.
Okay, understood that?
Okay, try that on number 3.
How'd you get 2?
Okay, so how many sides does this have? 8. So it's an octagon, so we're going to do 360 divided by 8, which is 45. So this angle from here to here is 45. Okay, good. So this angle right here is 22.5. And if each side is 4, how far is it going to be from here to here? It's going to be 2. Okay, now we're looking for this. All right, so we're going to do tan of 22.5 equals 2 over x. So since x is on the bottom, we're going to divide. We're going to do 2 divided by tan of 22.5. All right, so again, make sure you're in degree mode right here. And then we're going to go 2
Over tangent of 22.5.
divided by 10 of 22.5. And it's 4.83. Okay. So that means that this apothem is 4.83.
I was hoping to test, I couldn't see that, but test either.
Okay. This is going to tie into what we did yesterday. All right, so for lateral surface area of a prism, what's our formula?
Kind of long, P,
P times H.
Plus 2 times B.
that's
Okay,
lateral, that's lateral.
That's lateral.
Total.
I've got them switched from the way I did yesterday. Lateral's P times H and total is
P times H
Times
plus
H
2
plus 2
times B.
Times
plus 2 times B.
It's fair. Okay, you got that?
Okay, so what's the perimeter of the base of this thing going to be?
42.
7 times 6, which is 42. Now, to find the area of the base here, what am I going to have to find?
The apothem.
I'm going to have to find this apothem, just like we did a second ago. Okay, so how many sides does this base have? 6. So I'm going to do 360 divided by 6, which is what? 60, divide that by 2, this is 30, this is 30.
120. Oh, wait. Oh.
Yeah, you went the wrong way, so it's going to be 30 here. Now, if this whole side is 7, how long is it going to be from here to here? It's going to be half of that. It's going to be 3.5. Oh, you're good. So now we're going to do, again, if you want to use your 30, 60, 90 rule here, that'd be awesome. So tan of 30 equals 3.5 over x. So we're going to do 3.5 divided by tan of 30.
6.06.
I disagree. That's 6.0.
Okay. So now we've got the apothem, so we can find the area 6.06 times 42 divided by 2 is what? 27.26. Okay, what's the height of this prism? 8, because remember, what does height mean?
The distance between bases.
Distance between the bases, so it's how far it is from there to there, so that's 8. So for lateral, we're going to do
42 times
perimeter of the base times the height,
336.
336.
Yes.
And then for total, it's perimeter of the base times the height plus 2 times the area of the base.
590.
You forgot just something. 590.
590 point what?
52.
I thought it would be. I don't know how I got that.
What you get?
I got 4,000 or 43,000.
What you do?
You probably did a times right here instead of plus. Did you put a times there instead of plus?